The Shang dynasty or Yin dynasty, according to traditional historiography, ruled in the Yellow River Valley in the 2nd millennium BC, succeeding the Xia dynasty and followed by the Zhou dynasty. The classic account of the Shang comes from texts such as the Book of Documents, Bamboo Annals and Records of the Grand Historian. According to the traditional chronology based upon calculations made approximately 2,000 years ago by Lu Xin, the Shang ruled from 1766 to 1122 BC. But according to the chronology based upon the current texts of Bamboo Annals, they ruled from 1558 to 1046 BC. The Xia Shang Zhou chronology project dated them from c. 1600 to 1046 BC. Archaeological work at the ruins of Yin, which has been identified as the last Shang capital, uncovered 11 major Yin royal tombs and the foundations of palaces and ritual sites, containing weapons of war and remains from both animal and human sacrifices. Tens of thousands of bronze, jade, stone, bone, and ceramic artifacts have been obtained. The Anyang site has yielded the earliest known body of Chinese writing, mostly divinations inscribed on oracle bones, turtle shells, ox scapulae, or other bones. The inscriptions provide critical insight into many topics from the politics, economy, and religious practices to the art and medicine of this early stage of Chinese civilization. Traditional accounts. Many events concerning the Shang dynasty are mentioned in various Chinese classics, including the Book of Documents, the Mencius and the Zhaojuan. Working from all the available documents, the Han Dynasty historian Sima Qian assembled a sequential account of the Shang dynasty as part of his Records of the Grand Historian. His history describes some events in detail, while in other cases only the name of a king is given. A closely related, but slightly different, account is given by the Bamboo Annals. The annals were interred in 296 BC, but the text has a complex history and the authenticity of the surviving versions is controversial. The name Yin is used by Sima Qian for the dynasty, and in the current text version of the Bamboo Annals for both the dynasty and its final capital. It has been a popular name for the Shang throughout history. Since the records of emperors and kings by Huang Fumi, it has often been used specifically to describe the later half of the Shang dynasty. In Japan and Korea, the Shang are still referred to almost exclusively as the Yin dynasty. However, it seems to have been a Zhou name for the earlier dynasty. The word does not appear in the oracle bones, which refer to State as Shang, and the capital as Day as Shang. It also does not appear in securely dated Western Zhou bronze inscriptions. Course of the dynasty. Sima Qian's Annals of the Ying begins by describing the pre-dynastic founder of the Shang lineage, Xie, also appearing as Qi, as having been miraculously conceived when Jadi, a wife of Emperor Ku, swallowed an egg dropped by a black bird. Xie is said to have helped Yu the Great to control the Great Flood and for his service to have been granted a place called Shang as a fief. Sima Qian relates that the dynasty itself was founded 13 generations later, when Xie's descendant Tang overthrew the impious and cruel final Xia ruler in the Battle of Mingxiao. The records recount events from the reigns of Tang, Tai Jia, Tai Wu, Pan Geng, Wu Ding, Wu Yi and the depraved final king Daixin. But the rest of the Shang rulers are merely mentioned by name. According to the records, the Shang moved their capital 5 times, with the final move to Yin in the reign of Pan Geng inaugurating the golden age of the dynasty. Daixin, the last Shang king, is said to have committed suicide after his army was defeated by Wu of Zhou. Legends say that his army and his equipped slaves betrayed him by joining the Zhou rebels in the decisive Battle of Muya. According to the Yi Zhou Shu and Mencius, the battle was very bloody. The classic Ming-era novel Feng Shenyanyi retells the story of the war between Shang and Zhou as a conflict where rival factions of gods supported different sides in the war. After the Shang were defeated, King Wu allowed Daishin's son Wu Geng to rule the Shang as a vassal kingdom. However, Zhou Wu sent 3 of his brothers and an army to ensure that Wu Geng would not rebel. After Zhou Wu's death, the Shang joined the rebellion of the 3 guards against the Duke of Zhou, but the rebellion collapsed after 3 years, leaving Zhou in control of Shang territory. Descendants after Shang's collapse, Zhou's rulers forcibly relocated Yin diehards and scattered them throughout Zhou territory. Some surviving members of the Shang royal family collectively changed their surname from the ancestral name Zi to the name of their fallen dynasty, Yin. The family retained an aristocratic standing and often provided needed administrative services to the succeeding Zhou dynasty. The records of the Grand Historian states that King Cheng of Zhou, with the support of his regent and uncle, the Duke of Zhou, informed Weizaki, a brother of Daishin, as the Duke of Song, with its capital at Shangqiu. The Dukes of Song would maintain rights honoring the Shang kings until Song was conquered by Qi in 286 BC. Confucius was a descendant of the Shang kings through the Dukes of Song. The Dukes of Yancheng are in turn the descendants of Confucius. The vassal state of Guzhou, located in what is now Tangshan, was formed by another remnant of the Shang, and was destroyed by Duke Wan of Qi. Many Shang clans that migrated northeast after the dynasty's collapse were integrated into Yan culture during the Western Zhou period. These clans maintained an elite status and continued practicing the sacrificial and burial traditions of the Shang. Both Korean and Chinese legends, including reports in the Book of Documents and the Bamboo Annals, state that a disgruntled Shang prince named Jizhi, who had refused to cede power to the Zhou, left China with a small army. According to these legends, he founded a state known as Gurdjieff in northwest Korea during the Gojoseon period of ancient Korean history. However, the historical accuracy of these legends is widely debated by scholars. Early Bronze Age archaeology. Before the 20th century, the Zhou dynasty was the earliest Chinese dynasty that could be verified from its own records. However, during the Song dynasty, antiquarians collected bronze ritual vessels attributed to the Shang era, some of which bore inscriptions. These types of early inscriptions were later traced to the Yingqiu site in the Yellow River Valley. Yellow River Valley. There are several important Shang sites in the Yellow River Valley. Yingqiu site in 1899, it was found that Chinese pharmacists were selling dragon bones, marked with curious and archaic characters. These were finally traced back in 1928 to a site near Anyang, north of the Yellow River in modern Henan province, where the Academia Sinica undertook archaeological excavation until the Japanese invasion in 1937. Archaeologists focused on the Yellow River Valley in Henan as the most likely site of the states described in the traditional histories. Huabe site. The remains of a walled city of about 470 hectares were discovered in 1999 across the Wan River from the well-explored Yingqiu site. The city, now known as Huabe, was apparently occupied for less than a century and destroyed shortly before the construction of the Yingqiu complex. Zhengzhou Shang City. After 1950, the remnants of the earlier walled settlement of Shang City were discovered near Zhengzhou. It has been determined that the earth walls at Zhengzhou, erected in the 15th century BC, would have been 20 meters wide at the base, rising to a height of 8 meters, and formed a roughly rectangular wall 7 kilometers around the ancient city. The rummed earth construction of these walls was an inherited tradition, since much older fortifications of this type have been found at Chinese Neolithic sites of the Longshan culture. Yanqi. There are 2 important archaeological sites near the modern city of Yanqi. Erlitou site, and Yanqi Shang city. Yanqi lies on the Luo River, which is a tributary of the Yellow River. In 1959, the site of the Erlitou culture was found in Yanqi, south of the Yellow River near Luoyang. Radiocarbon dating suggests that the Erlitou culture flourished California, 2100 BC to 1800 BC. They built large palaces, suggesting the existence of an organized state. In 1983, Jiangxi Shang city was discovered 6 kilometers northeast of the Erlitou site in Yanqi's Shijiangao township. This was a large walled city dating from 1600 BC. It had an area of nearly 200 hectares and featured pottery characteristic of the Erligang culture. Panlongcheng site. The Panlongcheng site in the middle Yangtze Valley was an important regional center of the Erlugang culture. Background: Chinese historians living in later periods were accustomed to the notion of one dynasty succeeding another, and readily identified the Erlugang and Erlitou sites with the early Shang and Qia dynasty of traditional histories. The actual political situation in early China may have been more complicated, with the Qia and Shang being political entities that existed concurrently, just as the early Zhou, who established the successor state of the Shang, are known to have existed at the same time as the Shang. Related and contemporary sites. The Erlugang culture represented by the Yellow River sites is found across a wide area of China, even as far northeast as the area of modern Beijing, where at least one burial in this region during this period contained both Erlugang-style bronzes and local-style gold jewelry. The discovery of a Chenghu-style GE dagger axe at Shaonin demonstrates that even at this early stage of Chinese history, there were some ties between the distant areas of North China. In Shandong area, the early Shang culture often coexisted with the preceding Yuezhi culture settlements, so some cultural continuity is possible. Accidental finds elsewhere in China have revealed advanced civilizations contemporaneous with but culturally unlike the settlement at Anyang, such as the walled city of Sanqingdui in Sichuan. Western scholars are hesitant to designate such settlements as belonging to the Shang dynasty. Also, unlike the Shang, there is no known evidence that the Sanqingdui culture had a system of writing. The late Shang state at Anyang is thus generally considered the first verifiable civilization in Chinese history. In contrast, the earliest layers of the Wusheng site, predating Anyang, have yielded pottery fragments containing short sequences of symbols, suggesting that they may be a form of writing quite different in form from oracle bone characters, but the sample is too small for decipherment. Some scholars believe the Shang dynasty to be a descendant of Longshan culture.